Hi there, today I'm going to show you a very interesting way to learn all about agent building. And this interesting way is an agent builder lab which will allow you to learn all about agent building in a very interactive way. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and liking the video. So this particular agent builder lab is located on my platform datajarvis.ai. You can also try it out. So on this particular platform, you can go to the app which is called as Agent Builder and you can launch the app. Once you are in it, you will see different design patterns such as the single agent, React tool agent, router multi-agent, supervisor multi-agent, and a reflection agent. For each of these design patterns, you will find a brief description of what this is all about, and you will also see a diagrammatic way to represent this design pattern. And here you'll also see on how to implement this particular design pattern using Python. Now let me take an example of a router multi-agent. So a router multi-agent is going to classify any incoming query and forward it to an exactly one specialist agent. So for example, here I have a router agent and I have three specialist agents, a mathematician, a writer, and a coder. So the router is going to take a user query and then based on the query, it is going to decide which is the specialist agent which it needs to call. The work will be passed on to the specialist and the specialist is going to produce the final output. So here you'll also see the Python code to implement this particular design pattern. And here I've specifically used the OpenAI large language model and you do not need to configure any key. The key is already configured and you can just try it out. So here you'll see the definition of all the specialist agent. You'll also see the definition of the router agent and then you'll also see on how to execute this particular design pattern. So it is a very elegant way to see the Python code and learn on how to build a router multi-agent system. Now you can also see the different prompts which are used over here. So for example, the router prompt over here, you also have the prompt which are necessary for the mathematician, the writer, and the coder. And then you can also execute this and try it out. So for example, let's say we have a query such as write an haiku about gradient descent. So let me run this agent and in a while you will be able to see the execution trace. So for example, here we have the execution trace which starts by the router agent selecting the three specialist agent and then it is also going to make a routing decision. In this case, it has chosen the writer and the work gets passed on to the writer. Now once the work is passed on to the writer is also going to use a large language model call and get the task done. So here you can see the final output which is produced. So my friends, this is a very interesting way to learn about agent building. You can learn about different ways to build agents. You can also see on what is the diagrammatic representation of the design pattern as well as you also see the Python code and an execution trace. So I would highly recommend that you should try this out also. So go to my platform datajarvis.ai, try this out and let me know your feedback in the comments. Thank you for watching.